The file, as I indicated, is from 2019, so it's almost 5 years old. The original amount claimed was $5,625.59. And what very often happens is the people, which is what happened here, judgment, they get served. This is an out-of-state judgment too, which makes it a little more complicated, but they get sued, they don't answer, they get defaulted, a judgment enters, they don't do anything about it, and all of a sudden they start to get garnished, and the sleeping giant wakes up and they're like, wait a minute. So he wrote this letter dated March 21st, in a sense objecting to the garnishment. Plaintiff, to their credit, filed a response, and I set the matter for a hearing. Mr. Johnson, in the era of Zoom, I've been more inclined to set these for a hearing because you don't have to hire somebody or drive all the way out here to do this. But do you know anything about what's been going on with the garnishment?
Your Honor, after Mr. Van Dozen filed this objection, he did file for bankruptcy. So we have released the garnishment and are refunding all the monies to his bankruptcy attorney. So that's probably why he's not here today. Obviously, the objection he filed, I don't think is valid, but I guess there was another way around it with the bankruptcy filing. So that's kind of what's going on.
All right. Thank you for zooming in to fill me in. So no action is needed here. All right, thank you. Yeah, garnishment trumps about everything else. All right, thank you for your time. Nice to see you. Maybe one day you'll get to visit Centerville if you get lucky, and I'll see you maybe next time. Thank you. You're good to go.
All right, thank you, Your Honor. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. Ms. Taylor, would you rejoin us?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, we're 17 minutes behind, which isn't bad, all things considered. They set all three of these cases for 10 o'clock. Title of this case is Three Rivers Health Systems versus Ecstasy Taylor. Allison Slight is representing the plaintiff, but she's here represented today by attorney Grant James, P 86908
86990. Thanks, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, this is a motion for summary disposition, which is often difficult when we're dealing with defendants that are unrepresented. So let me recap a little bit. The hospital filed this lawsuit. They filed a complaint in January of this year claiming that you owed $920.11 plus cost, interest, and attorney fees. That lawsuit was served on you in February. You filed a letter, which we've accepted as an answer, on March 7th, saying, I don't have any money, but I was on Medicaid and this should have been covered, essentially. So the plaintiff filed this motion for summary disposition. A summary disposition motion, and I explain this every week, is a motion that's used in civil cases, and lawyers and judges are much better at it than lay people. But it is alleged that there is no material issue of fact that you owe the money and you haven't stated any defense. So a judgment should simply enter on their behalf and perhaps a payment plan could be set up. Mr. James, do you wish to discuss that any further?
No, Your Honor, just that you're correct and we are willing to enter into a payment plan if the defendant is amenable.
Ms. Taylor, what would you like to say about it?
I wouldn't mind, but the problem is, like I stated in the letter, and that I stated to them yesterday was that I'm not working because I have my 2 and 3-year-old and without a vehicle as well to even get them to daycare, to even try to do any type of payments. I literally don't have any money coming in on my behalf
All right,
to
well,
pay.
let's talk about that. They don't, if you don't have any money, you don't have any money. They can't, I jokingly say, they can't take the gold fillings out of your teeth or take your firstborn child. This is just a piece of paper that says that you owe money. Now, it isn't going to go away. This judgment is good for 10 years.
Okay.
So if your circumstances change and you have a better ability to pay it, then they can collect on it. But it just appears to be is what it is. Now,
Right.
I don't know if we've met. Which Taylor family are you from?
We haven't met. I'm actually from Alabama.
All right. Well, there's Taylors here that I've known all my life.
Oh, no, I moved
I
up
didn't,
here 4 years ago, so I'm pretty new.
well, Taylor's a common name, but all right. I guess it is what it is. I'm inclined to grant the motion for summary disposition. The judgment will enter. Let me see if I have an order.
We attached, I believe, a proposed order to the motion, Your Honor. However, in that order, I believe we were asking for around $175 a month for the
Yes.
order. Sounds like that maybe isn't entirely feasible. If I could ask the defendant, Your Honor, is there an amount you would be willing to pay? I mean, $50 a month?
I can agree. I mean, it's not, what do you call it? I can't promise to continually be able to. But I do know when I start back working that I'll pay in for it. Because I mean, I would have been actually handled this had I actually known. It's just with this number that I have, I get a lot of weird phone calls, so I don't technically respond to anything. I didn't even realize it was you all texting me until the other day because you all asked about my location, and I don't know if you would tell anyone your location if you don't know who they are. So I can if
All right. Well, let's go with 50 starting May 15th. Well, we're almost at May. How about if we start June 1st? Now, I'm at a disadvantage, Mr. James. I don't see that order, neither in the paper file or the electronic file.
I have a copy as well of that.
I believe it was Exhibit B to the motion for summary.
Let me look. I have a page that says Exhibit B, but there's nothing behind it. So let me look in the electronic file. Maybe it just didn't get printed. Exhibit A, affidavit of account. Exhibit B, there it is. Michelle, could you print that judgment, Exhibit B and Three Rivers Health Systems versus Taylor? I don't have a copy of it. It says Exhibit B and then there's nothing after that. So if you could print that for me, I will sign it. It's going to say, Ms. Taylor, that you owe $920.11. That's the judgment by summary disposition. That there's a $55 filing fee and a $75 statutory attorney fee. They did not charge a service fee for a total of $1,050.11. payment shall be made at $50 each month, starting June 1st. And again, if you can make $50, great. If you can't send 50, send 25, send something. And eventually this thing could be paid off. Now, if you get a windfall, somebody gives you some money, or you sell a car or get a tax refund or something, you can just pay this off. But as long as you pay $50 or at least some payment each month, they won't pursue any other collection. So let me wait for the clerk to bring that. Are you still at the Millard Street address?
Yes.
Mr. James, where are you located?
I'm in Grand Rapids, Michigan at the address.
At the Next Gen office? Okay.
Yeah.
And are those terms agreeable with you, sir?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, thank you. I don't know if she heard me, so I will
Oh,
pursue that.
I said yes. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, no,
I
I
don't
was
know.
saying,
Go ahead. Is there anything else you wanted to say, Ms. Taylor?
oh, no, I thought you were saying that I didn't respond. I'm sorry.
No, it was my clerk. I asked her to print that for me and bring it in here, but you guys don't need to wait for that. So I will get a copy printed and alter it in the way we discussed. And you'll get that in the mail. And here it comes. It probably took her a minute to find it and print it. What?
I thought I gave you. Should have been the first page.
It says Exhibit B and there is no
Yeah,
exhibit.
I'm glad I ripped it off and had it all prepped for you. Maybe I attached it to the document. That's okay, you got it now. Okay,
I
There it
couldn't
is.
find. All right, well, I got it now, so it will be that amount, and the payments will be $50 each month, starting June 1. And I've signed it. Mr. James, thanks for your patience. We actually got out of here in 27 minutes, which wasn't too bad. But you had to go last in line because you had the only contested case. And Ms. Taylor, thank you as well.
Thank you,
You're
Your
good to
Honor.
go. All right, thank you. Well, we're waiting for Miss Richmond to join us. There
Here
they
I
are.
am.
Back from special engagement in the Florida Keys. Terry Richmond, back in Michigan. Let me take care of this case ahead of yours.
Okay.
And then we'll address yours. Mr. Heisman, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, we went through your advice of rights. Mr. Matheny has joined us. He's here at the courthouse. This is a circumstance where you're both living in the same house, 212 South Monroe Street. And Mr. Matheny wants you to move. What's your position?
Being that he's my stepfather, I guess I have to do what you would like.
Have you taken any action to find another place to go?
Yes, I have. I've got some of my stuff moved out. It's a little touch and go on transportation from how far my storage shed is. And I got two places I'm looking at moving into. One being my mother, one being my aunt. But nothing's 100% right now.
All right. Mr. Matheny, the law requires that I adjourn this matter for 7 days. The law changed a few years ago during COVID. They used to get 10 days from this date to move out. It sounds like Herman is working on doing that. He had some stuff with me earlier this year, and he took care of all of his obligations regarding those matters. But the law requires that I adjourn this for 7 days, which would be next Friday, May 3rd. And we would set this for 1:40 on Friday, May 3rd.
And if I'm out before that date, do I show up to court still?
No, you don't. I'll
Okay,
give
thank
you
you.
instructions regarding that. If you've moved out by that date, you need to turn in your keys and give your forwarding address in writing to your landlord. But if you've moved by that date, you don't need to appear.
Okay, thank you.
Now, let me tell you what else.
Yes, sir.
If you don't move by that date, Mr. Matheny can get an order. Well, I would order you to move out within 10 days of that day, which would be May 16th. If you don't move by that date, the sheriff could come put your stuff out. But I get these cases almost every month where people are living in the same house, they're related, they were friends, they're not, and the landlord simply wants their property back.
What about
He
you
wants
any more stuff?
Excuse me, sir?
He's got this girlfriend that lives there, and she is crazy. The neighbors called me 10 minutes after I got to work. The case number's 1393, I believe, or 1939. And she was outside. I know when I got to work at 6 o'clock in the
Well, I
morning.
don't know anything about her. She's not listed anywhere. What's
She
her?
lives there though. Asking me, she lives there.
Well, okay, what's her name?
Cheyenne Smith.
Say that again.
Cheyenne Smith.
So are you both gonna go? Just a minute, Mr. Matheny, you're not represented by a lawyer. You're doing this yourself. The only move to evict Herman. She's not on. But you did include and all others. So she is included as all others.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Mr. Heisman, if you're both out, you turn in the keys. You don't need to be here next week.
Yep.
If you're not, we'll have a further hearing at 1:40 on May 3rd.
Okay.
Mr. Matheny,
Yes, sir.
same thing, if he turns in the keys and moves, you don't need to be here either. But if he doesn't, you can come in just like you did today.
And what about destroying more things? They broke a window. She broke.
Well, they aren't supposed to do that. If they move out, you can ask for money damages or sue them in small claims court.
I admit the window.
What?
I admit the window. That was mine. Nothing else I've destroyed has been. I've never destroyed anything but the window.
All right.
I got
Well,
witnesses.
all right.
I have witnesses that seen your girlfriend do it.
Okay. Now, once he moves out, you can assess how much damage you did and file a lawsuit in small claims court to collect money. This is not a money hearing. This is just a possession hearing to get him out. So, and don't destroy any more property and moving out, and
Yes,
you
sir.
need to take the other person with you.
Yes.
But if nobody's here next Friday, I'll assume you moved. If you didn't, we'll have a further hearing on the matter.
Okay, no problem.
All right, you're good to go. All right, Mr. Matheny, if you have any questions, contact the court. But otherwise, if he's gone, we won't be here next week. If he is, we'll discuss it further. Again, once he moves, assess what all the damage is, and if you want to sue him in small claims court, you can do that. All right, we actually got one jump ahead. This case is set for 9/10. It's now 9/14. It's Terry and Larry Richmond versus Jeremy and Jane Price. Who do you
Your
have with
Honor,
you, Ms. Richmond?
I have Jane Price.
All right.
Are we on YouTube?
Yes, and this is the one we discussed.
Yes.
And I'm going to stop this for a moment. And that's why I thought I would do the other one. We'll stop the live stream. There are some issues that the parties discussed with me in advance that they don't wish to put on the YouTube channel. So Attorney David Schulte is here. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Bardan. And Mr. Jason Moore. What's your name again? I didn't.
It's Jason Moore.
All right. M-O-O-R-E?
Yes.
Son of Earl Moore. Was Earl Moore the mortgage holder on this property?
Yes, he was my father. He's the one that originally had the mortgage.
Is he still alive?
No, he just passed.
When?
The 6th.
Of April?
Yeah.
Oh my, okay. I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah, he wasn't
Now,
even ill.
Are you in the property?
Yes, sir. I'm there, and then Robin Adairmore is there. She is 100% bedridden and on oxygen full time. And then Aaron, the young boy that they have guardianship and custody of, he's 10 years old, is there.
Well, this was a mortgage sale some months ago. And the date for the redemption of the mortgage passed last September 4th. So they've waited all the way from September now to April to ask this. The time to redeem this property has passed. You are in dire straits, Mr. Moore. You and your family are within a few days of being evicted from this property. Have you made any provision to find somewhere to go?
Your Honor, I just in the last, I guess it's been about 8 days ago, 9 days ago, I found this paperwork going, looking through his stuff. I immediately called your court and let them know that he had passed and that I found this paperwork. Since then, I'm waiting on death certificates for him so I can do all the proper stuff. I'm working on getting Robin, and she has to be 24-hour care. So we're trying to find a home to put her in. It's just this just hit all of a sudden. He wasn't even ill. He was driving and had a massive heart attack, and his brain bled out right there on the roadside. So this has all hit us. I mean, I've had to move in over there to take care of her till we can get her into a place. It's so much to deal with. And like I said, I just found this paperwork laying on his desk.
Now, who was Robin Moore to him?
That would have been they were now divorced, but they still lived together. It was his wife.
All right, his ex-wife.
Yeah. They had gotten divorced, but still lived together.
Okay.
They were, from what I'm looking through this paperwork, they were both on the mortgage. But I'm sure
Well,
as
I
you can
appreciate,
tell,
hold it. I appreciate your being here to help enlighten us a little bit. Mr. Schulte, what do you make of all this?
Your Honor, obviously, given the situation is a little bit unique here, if it helps, we can try to offer Mr. Moore and his family 45 days to move out. I know we have authority for that, but anything else is a bit too much.
Well, he's just here trying to help pick up the pieces. But what happens is people ignore the comet that's coming to collide with the planet, and they don't do anything about it. And then it hits. And so these people are in a tough position. I think the safest bet at this point is to continue this for 1 week, see what Mr. Moore can tell us. And then perhaps you can give them a 30-day or so move out date. But that takes us to May 3rd.
Your Honor.
Yes.
No matter what, I have to move everybody out and try to clean this place up. There's this place is full. There's 5 garages out there full of stuff. I am very pleased with the gentleman there willing to give us 45 days. I think I can have it done by then and have most of the cleanup done. I don't want to waste the time if we don't have to. I mean, I'm willing to work with these people. This was thrown at me. Like I said, I didn't even know this existed. I did find notes. I could kind of show you. He had notes in the file where he had been talking with an attorney and stuff to try to save his house, but it looks like it just came too late.
Well, I have some concerns. You don't have the authority to consent on behalf of everybody else that's in there. Robin has an interest in this. You're not an attorney. But I take you up on your effort to get the place cleaned out in the next 45 days. But for starters, let's just continue this to May 3rd.
May 3rd.
That's next Friday.
Are we gonna do a Zoom again?
Yes, sir. At 2:15.
2:15. What would you like me to try to get for you?
Let me know what the plans are for moving Robin Adair Moore and Aaron Moore. And then what your ability is to get the property cleaned up within 45 days.
Okay.
Because we could enter a consent order right now that you would move out in 45 days, but I don't believe you have the authority to consent for everybody else.
Hey, Earl, bring me a pen.
Right, and I'm working right now with an assisted living place. I meet with them today at 4 o'clock. The problem I'm running into is everyone I find is full.
Yes, that's true. They're also expensive.
Yeah, about 10 grand a month is what we're finding. You can imagine my shock.
Yes. Who are you meeting with? Which agency?
This is one out of Three Rivers, Michigan.
All right. Well, there's a very good one there called Birch Meadows, and the Meadows are there.
You said Birch Meadows?
Birch Meadows. They also have one in Leonidas, the Birches. But Birch Meadows in Three Rivers is a very fine facility. There are several others, but I didn't know if that's the one you were meeting with.
No, but I'm going to call them when we're done.
All right. Best of luck. Yeah. Let's address this next Friday.
The one in Leonidas is very nice, but it's full. They have a waiting list of 2 years.
Yes, they do. They're connected. They're part of the same group. All right.
Okay.
Address this, Mr. Schulte. Thank you for your patience, but you hit the nail on the head. It's a unique situation. The parties were unknown, but now we know who they are.
Yeah.
All right. I will see you next Friday. Does that work for you, sir?
Yes, it does.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Marvin, this is Ryan Gillespie, PEC. And I got here at 7 o'clock this morning and learned that this had been set for a Zoom PEC. Then I heard Mr. Gibson didn't want to come and he wanted to know if he could come by Zoom. Wexford County Jail is sort of in here and I've got the Zoom room open, but if Paul's here, I can put them in a breakout room. Wexford County Jail, I need you to turn on your camera and your microphone. And David, I didn't know if there was an offer or you and Paul had discussed anything in this case.
I've looked at it. I haven't heard anything. Paul, I don't think we talked about this.
I mean, I'm sure we did back weeks or months ago. I think you had said that you had, I guess we could talk in private, but I do think that I could kind of give you a refresher on what we had talked about. I don't know.
Is this a situation where he may be waiving the preliminary examination or whether we're going to be scheduling a prelim?
That I'm not sure about, but I know that Attorney Marvin had mentioned that, he wanted to see how the case in Wexford County went because he had mentioned previously that he felt like that with this crime, it was the alleged crime happened in 2 counties. And I know Attorney Marvin had mentioned that he thought that Wexford County was the more appropriate county to be hearing the case, really.
Does the court know that he was deemed competent?
Yes, I was
all right, so that's just recent. So I think we've been waiting for a while.
Yeah, Judge Pattison signed a competency order.
All right, so it sounds like we need to talk more about it.
All right. Well, good morning, Mr. Gillespie. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
This is Judge Middleton. I'm here at the court in Centerville. I've been on vacation. When I came back, this landed on my desk and they set it at the inconvenient time of 8:30 in the middle of everything else. But you're in the Wexford County Jail in beautiful Cadillac, where the Sheplers are. And your lawyer, Mr. Paul Gibson, is here with me, and Prosecutor David Marvin is here. This case was on hold for a number of months while it was pending a competency determination after treatment, and Judge Pattison signed an order of competency. It's also part of the same transaction. Part of it is here and part of it is in Wexford County. So right now, I'm going to put you in a breakout room.
And before that happens, Paul Gibson, I have not heard what happened in Wexford County, so I still need that information.
Okay.
Assigned for a high court misdemeanor.
All right. You pled to a high court misdemeanor?
Yeah.
That would be something like attempted, or probably joyriding, unlawful use of an automobile.
But I got 16 months in on this.
Yes. 16 months on a 2-year maximum offense. All right, hopefully I can do this. I don't know who's there with you. I'm gonna do a breakout room with your lawyer. And I don't know if you can click on that button or not, but you're gonna click on the button that says join the breakout room.
I don't see it. Oh, there it is.
Yes, click on that. Then the benefit is this: we didn't have to drive up to Wexford County and get them. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Just click on the one that says join. This is file 2-3. This is an old case. 5-7 ST. Are you Zachary Hilliard?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Hilliard told me he watches our live streams. I told him today he gets to see himself. Good morning to you, sir. You got a ticket way back in March of 2020. Excuse me, January of 2023 for driving without a valid license. You didn't show up for your arraignment. We did a show cause hearing. You didn't show up for that. And a bench warrant issued with a $300 bond. And you got arrested on April 9th and posted a bond on April 9th. So let's talk about this. Let me look it up. There's more than enough bond money to pay any fine here. You're charged with having no license ever acquired, which is a different form of driving suspended. It doesn't carry any points. I don't think. No, it carries 2 points. It doesn't carry a suspension, I don't believe. No license ever applied. They allege you were driving a car on January 12th of 23, Riverside Drive at Miller Road out in the country, and you didn't have a license. So let's take a look at your driving record. And then you didn't show up for court. Yeah, it shows you're not licensed. You had another one of these same charges back in 2021, and you didn't pay that ticket. I have a cheat sheet. How do you plead to that charge? You can plead guilty, and we'll talk about it. You can plead not guilty, and if you need, I could appoint an attorney for you.
Your Honor.
Yes.
I did speak with Mr. Hilliard this morning. He did not know, or he didn't think he owed or ever had another ticket. However, he does have an appointment with the Secretary of State to apply for his learner's permit here on Friday, this Friday or next Friday?
This Friday.
This Friday. And so we had discussed him pleading not guilty and maybe talking to the prosecutor, even though he does maybe have a prior. We'll try to avoid any further action on his record if possible.
He's got some baggage on here, but he has a 2017 no license that he paid. Somehow they've got your name on here, but there isn't anything in here. But you've got some unpaid stuff, mostly not having to do with driving. You were on a payment plan that I don't think you ever finished paying. We'll look into that. But I'm willing to set this out a month or so for a pretrial. You do have an appointment with the Secretary of State?
Yes, Your Honor.
When is that?
It is Friday, this Friday at 12.
To take the driving test or the written test?
The written test, sir.
All right. The prosecutor's position, and mine was when I was prosecutor, in the old days, like 100 years ago, if you got a driving suspended, it was pretty heavy. And if you got a second one, you had to do 5 days in jail. It carried a minimum 5-day jail sentence. But they didn't charge you with driving suspended. They charged you with no ops ever acquired. So I'm going to adjourn this for a pretrial with the prosecutor. This is from the county prosecutor. And if you get squared away, at least a permit, the prosecutor can change this to a charge that doesn't go on your driving record. If you get your license and then you get convicted of this, they're just going to take your license away. So you're doing what you've been needed to do for a number of years. But I think the prosecutor will give you some consideration if you come in here and show you've at least got a permit. So it's late April. Let's set it for late May. Set for pretrial for 8:30 on May 30th. I'll give you a notice. I also want you to check in at the counter and find out, my secretary underlined that you owed money, but it's not on the chart, so I can't tell. It looks like there's some unpaid stuff. Are you working somewhere?
I'm doing a handyman service.
In Constantine?
No, Sturgis.
What kind of stuff are you doing?
Anything house related, pretty much.
Thursday, May 30th. Bring proof of license or permit. All right, Mr. Hilliard, I hope you passed the test. Go get your permit, bring it in here, and the prosecutor will meet with you on the 30th and see if they can change this.
Okay, thank you.
I'll see you then. Are you Malachi Xavier Lewis?
Yes.
Okay, good morning to you. You got a ticket on April 11th for operating without a license, kind of similar to the last guy. Let's take a look at you, Mr. Lewis. I know your mom. I haven't met you before, I don't think. No, you're in the same boat. You got a no valid ops in 2019 that you haven't paid. And you also have a marijuana civil infraction that you haven't paid. It was US 131 and Broadway at 2:30 in the afternoon on April 11th. Are you working to get your license?
I'm trying.
All right, very good. We would do the same thing with you as you did with the last guy. Are you living on 4th Street?
No, our house burned down.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. And so where are you staying?
At the Super 8 Hotel.
Still there. How long have you been there? Well, at least you got a roof over your head, but are you working someplace?
Not right now.
All right, tell me, have you actually made an appointment at SOS to get your license?
Not yet.
Well, you're gonna need to, because I'm gonna do the same thing I did with the last guy. I'm gonna continue this to the 30th of May and see if you can at least start the process to get a permit. What I call it is getting on the driving suspended merry-go-round. You get on it and you can't get off of it. And so if you can get your license, the prosecutor could change this to a charge called allowing another to violate the motor vehicle code. But you already got one of these and you haven't paid the fine. And then you got a civil infraction and you didn't pay that fine. So that's not very good. But if you, so did the last guy. But if you can come in here with proof that you are working on your permit, and I want you to set up a payment plan on your unpaid fines. When you said you were working on it, what do you mean by that? You were, go ahead.
I haven't started yet.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I want you to start. It's not that hard. You go to this. The problem is no one likes going to the Secretary of State office. You have to wait, and there's a way that you go online and you make an appointment for a specific time to go in. And we don't have one in Three Rivers. It's in Sturgis. There are a couple in Kalamazoo. There's one in Dowagiac. Some people like that one, but you're gonna have to go to either Sturgis or Kalamazoo to get this started. I do all my stuff in Sturgis. Prosecutor pretrial. Do you work someplace?
No, sir.
Have you worked in the past?
Yes, sir.
What kind of jobs have you done?
Mostly factory and warehouse jobs.
All right, well, you're gonna need to get a job. You could probably walk over to Precision Wire and get a job this week. But you're gonna need to pay these old fines. I'm gonna give you a notice also. It's something you need to do anyway. This is just kicking you in the butt to make you do it. I'm going to give you this information about the stuff that you owe. Here's your notice. I want you also to go out to the counter and talk to the ladies about these unpaid fines you've got. You blew off 2 charges. One is for the exact same thing. And once you get on the driving suspended merry-go-round, you can't get off of it. So I want you to find out about paying these fines. I want you to call the Secretary of State, make an appointment, and find out what you need to do to go in and get your license. And then this nice lady here will look at your permit and she may give you a plea agreement that'll let you get your license. So I'll have the bailiff take you out to the counter.